Welcome to another installment of YouTube lessons for Algebra 2 Honors. Hopefully you enjoy this and it shows some promise. Today we're talking about lesson 67, the conjugate, as you can clearly read at the top of the page. And we're going to define conjugate in a second, but here's why we need it and why we use it. First of all, we're going to talk more about radicals and denominators. You cannot have radicals in the denominators. You couldn't have them before. You still can't have them now. Now, of course, we've seen this. We've dealt with it. If I showed you a problem, actually we did one of these yesterday or the day before. If I show you 4 over the square root of 3, you should be saying to yourself, okay, no radical in the denominator. What do I need to do to take care of this? Well, okay, I need to multiply by the denominator, in this case, which is the square root of 3, over the square root of 3. That's called rationalizing the denominator. Rationalizing the denominator is a pretty simple process. I just multiply numerator by numerator, get 4 root 3 over three. Not a big deal. We've done that. Great. But then that begs the question, what about if you have binomials in the denominators? Something maybe that looks like this. Okay. Well, you might or might not need a different way to solve it, or to simplify it, rather. So turn to the page here. Let's think about it. Okay. What about if we did rationalize the denominator? How would that end up for us? So let's paste right here the exact problem that I had a second ago. Said to myself, okay, I want to rationalize the denominator. So I'm going to multiply by root 3 over root 3. What do I get? So hopefully you could do this calculation too. I mean, the numerator, okay, it's just what we just had. 4 root 3 over, well, this is in parentheses, so it gets distributed. The root 3 gets distributed. I get 2 root 3 plus 3. It doesn't even matter what I get. This doesn't work. Why not? Well, because clearly I have the exact issue over in this denominator. I've got a radical. Okay. So then you might be looking at this and saying to yourself, oh, I know what I can do. I can just, let me just bring that down, sorry. I can square numerator and denominator. No, you cannot square the numerator and the denominator. You can only square numerators and denominators if you are squaring both sides of an equation. You cannot square an expression. That's not multiplying by the same thing to the numerator and denominator. And so then that brings up using the conjugate. What is a conjugate? If you have a binomial, the conjugate is the same binomial, it's the exact same binomial, with a different sign between the two terms. So you can picture yourself having a binomial, two-term expression. And the conjugate is that exact same binomial, except it's got a different sign. We've actually already used these, just like most other things we've done this year. So what is the conjugate to x plus 2, or the conjugate of x plus 2, however you want to look at it? Well, the conjugate of x plus 2 is the exact same binomial with a different sign in between. The conjugate is x minus 2. So what's the conjugate to 2x plus 5? 2x minus 5. What's the conjugate of y plus 1? Y minus 1. As long as it is the two same terms with a different sign in between, you've got a conjugate. Okay, so why do you use the conjugate? Well, we do what's called multiplying by the conjugate. So imagine you had two conjugates sitting next to each other. This is where we've seen it before. X plus 2 times x plus 2. This is the difference of two squares. What do you get when you multiply x plus 2 times x minus 2? You should be getting x squared minus 4. What happened? You got rid of the middle term. All right. So then that's got to help us simplify this question that we've been working on. Take care of 4 over 2 plus the square root of 3. All right. I know now that I need to multiply by the conjugate. So here we are, trying to multiply by the conjugate. What's the conjugate of 2 plus root 3? Same binomial, different sign in between. Binomial should be 2 minus root 3. And I'm going to multiply numerator and denominator by 2 minus root 3. All right, what does that all give you? Well, you distribute the numerator. Okay, 4 times 2 minus root 3. And that's going to give me in the numerator 8 minus 4 root 3. The denominator is binomial times binomial, so I did FOIL here for the first time. 4. Outer is, well, the outer is actually negative 2 root 3. Inner is positive 2 root 3. And last is root 3 times root 3, which is 3, but it's a positive times a negative, which is negative. Of course, this gets simplified slightly further. Numerator you can't do very much with. Numerator is 8 minus 4 root 3. Divided by, well, 4 minus 3 is 1. 2 root 3 minus 2 root 3 is 0. That was the whole point of this. Those middle two terms always cancel, so I don't even end up multiplying by those. And my final answer here is 8 minus 4 root 3. And that's how you use the conjugate. I hope you enjoyed this lesson. Make sure you do those few problems for homework that I asked you to do for the night. And I will see you tomorrow.